Hello Dulquer sir, how are you?
Good sir, good sir.
So you are more of a Telugu hero now.
Very happy to be here. Very happy
Yeah.
for these opportunities, these great films and roles I'm getting.
So you have 4 to 5 films lined up in Telugu next.
No, not that many. There's two films that I've liked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when are you shifting to Hyderabad? Relocating to
I
Hyderabad?
think my wife is because we just relocated to Chennai from Kochi for my daughter's schooling. So my wife is like, I can't shift again. You please be in one place.
Okay. So
But I
more
love-
like
I
a
love-
government employee, you shift to places.
Yeah, fully. I'm living out of a suitcase. But I love coming to Hyderabad. I love shooting here. It's very shoot friendly. I think people have so much love for cinema. And from day one, from the first day I came for Mahanati shoot, I've always loved shooting here.
So you have been known to be very very selective in choosing your stories. What excited you to pick Lucky Bashkar?
I think most of the films I've done have been very original films.
Yes.
I've never done remakes.
They have your mark on them.
Yeah, so I think in that sense, Lucky Bashkar also seemed like a very authentic story, very original story. And it is a nice, refreshing change to be in this sort of finance backdrop, financial, not just crime per se, but like how you've seen like Wolf of Wall Street or any of those films. I think for Venky also he's also somebody who's trying to break out of his. I think his first few films were love stories, and the first break was Vati, Sir.
Yes.
And so I think he's also trying to explore different genres.
You saw Vati, sir?
Yeah, I watched it.
So Vati is more about he picked a good subject
Yeah,
and viewed a commercial story around it.
correct.
So Lucky Bashkar is also going to be same.
I think it's like that. I think I'm also like that. I think a lot of my films, I keep trying to find really great stories and trying to make it as commercial as possible, like with a great cast, great technicians, great music, things like that. That is how my mind also works.
So the other day the trailer has released. Some people are drawing parallels to Scam 1992. So
Sure, I think it's maybe in a similar time in the country when Scam 92 happened and Baskhar. It's all happening around that time, but I think that's the only similarity. I don't think it's like Scam 92.
So, be it at the end of the day, this is a con job. Your character will have some
I'm not admitting anything.
some grey shades.
Sure. Yeah.
So, people like Harshad Mehta, Telgi, these people rags to riches story. But at the end of the day, all their endings will be anti-climax.
Right.
So, how is Bhaskar's ending will be?
That you had to watch the film on the 31st. Now it's not even like 5-6 days left, 4 days left. But I mean, we're not glorifying anything. I don't think we're glorifying any crime or anything. But it's also a survival story. It's also it's completely a common man story. I think everybody knows a Baskhar or has been a Baskhar at some point in their lives, and people. I think the audience will understand.
So, there are small Bhaskars and big Bhaskars in everybody.
Sure, I agree. But I think everybody will connect to him. And I think the audience will understand why he's doing certain things. And if they disagree with Baskhar, I think some characters in the film also disagree with him.
Okay. Sir, you have picked up 1980s and early 90s backdrop for the film.
Yeah.
For sure, this backdrop adds freshness to the story.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we consider banking frauds and everything, these days the frauds are more interesting than those days.
Correct.
The other day, Venky sir was telling me that this is more about the bookkeeping.
Correct.
But today there are more innovative and more interesting. Every day you read so many interesting scams in the paper.
Maybe we'll come up with the Lucky Bashkar set into it
Lucky
today
Bashkar
also.
2 is more about modern days.
Modern days, yeah. We can take the same character and play with it.
So what is that exciting point? Because as I said, this is more about bookkeeping.
When I heard it, it didn't feel like Venky created this world in this story. It felt like a true real life story, like we're telling some incident that actually happened in the late 80s. So I didn't question why it is set there in that time, why it is all that. I just felt like, oh, this sounds like it could have happened. And I asked him, do you think something has really happened? And he's like, some parts of it happened, but I mean, there's also some fiction to it. So I like that about the film. And sometimes, and if he's already envisioned it in period in that time, And I think there's some lot of conveniences to that also. Like,
In fact, banking sector is something we are so connected and at the same time not so connected.
yeah, we all know it very in how it affects our lives, but we don't know what happens.
What happens.
Yeah, how it operates.
So that's an interesting topic.
Yeah, that I found interesting. True.
So, sir, coming to Malayalam film industry, I'm a big fan of the content which you produce.
Thank you.
So, help me understand, sir, how do you produce such rooted, sensible content? Because there are big industries in the country, there are smaller industries than Malayalam industry, but your the films you make, they have a mark on them.
Correct. I think traditionally we've always had to have fast turnaround times because the market was so small. But we're also very creative. I feel like, see, writers are not a rarity in Malayalam. Almost most people seem to either have ideas or like, I get script offers from, can be anyone, can be my bank manager's son, it can be a friend's grandfather. Everybody has some writing in them, which is amazing. And because we've had to turn around films very quickly and you can't afford to spend time and money in production traditionally.
Yeah.
Mostly in Malayalam, historically, when we were shooting with film used to be the most expensive component.
Okay.
Not remuneration, not sets, not locations, nothing. Film was the most expensive component. So, as less film that you can shoot a film in. So, like, some of our greatest movies were shot in 18 days, 24 days, 25 days in the 80s and early 90s. And I think because of that faster turnaround, you can read audience tastes and audience trends also very quickly. And I think we've always liked, even I have that sort of, I think the fact that I keep trying to find realistic cinema and logical, I think it's all because of, being from there. I think our audiences in Malayalam, we can't do over the top superhero type of stuff there.
Yeah.
They might accept it from other languages, like they'll watch it if it's from Hindi or Telugu or English or whatever. But somehow when we start doing things like that, they're not fully able to believe it. So I think that also helps. I think the fact that they want to see rooted cinema. I think when I started acting also, like initially, a lot of the criticism I got was that I was quite urban or Western. I need to be rooted. I need to wear a mundu properly, and things like that. So I understand that as an audience, we like that. We like to be our actors to be relatable, our stories to be relatable. But that is there for all of us. I think what we relate to is different.
Yes. This you are telling me that the smaller market constraints or something which prompted you guys to
over time
do something innovatively.
Yeah.
So I have seen smaller industries than Kerala. When they make films, they keep a honest effect, but the quality which you produce and what they produce are entirely different.
Maybe an audience thing also.
Okay.
I think as an audience, we've always
Because what we call the production values.
Yeah.
The production values are much better in your.
I think one our audience expects really good quality writing and performances, but also like our technicians are world class. I don't know. We've always had amazing DOPs and art directors, and they've all gone out and worked in all the other industries, and whether it's in advertising or film or whatever. I think there's a real passion towards cinema, which is here also. I'm not saying it's not. But somewhere we are able to crack great technicians, great writing. But I feel like it's a very demand-supply thing also. I think the audience is wanting certain things. Therefore, we're all trying to be better, and that helps.
Sir, you shoot in Hyderabad and you shoot in Kochi. So in Hyderabad, our locations will be bustling with people. There are so many caravans, so many people, so much of big crews. And how different is
So here I feel like we're more of almost like a studio culture. So even if it's like an aluminum factory or something, once you enter that area, it's only film shoots that happen.
Yeah.
General public are not there.
Yes.
But when we shoot in Kerala, we're shooting mostly live locations. So we are having to then shoot, we have to do crowd management. Obviously people are curious to see film shoots. That is the one big difference I see. We don't have a set studio or one space that we shoot in. It's shot all over the state. It's shot everywhere, mostly in live location. Here, that way, like you can like say Lucky Bashkar also. We shot. Our two main sets were in aluminum factory, and it felt like going to an office, shooting, coming back.
Coming back.
And you don't see public at all. So you sometimes forget. Like literally, yesterday when I came for the trailer launch, it's the first time I'm seeing the public in such a long time because this movie took a long time.
You are in Hyderabad, but you are not in Hyderabad.
Yeah, so I'm going to work, I come back, I'm in my hotel. So suddenly I was nervous and scared like it's my first public event or something. I got up on stage and I was like, I forgot what this feels like. But when you're shooting in Kerala, there's always people. It's very rare that you're shooting in a sort of closed off space. That is one difference I see.
Okay. Sir, coming to Lucky Bashkar, you have been saying that our kind of films are a bit different from what Malayalam people. When you do a film with a Telugu filmmaker, how will people see that in back home? Because I mean to ask, there are any nativity issues or something like that?
Not like I think.
Or cultural issues?
No, I think the films I've been a part of, now I don't differentiate them based on language. I think I try to find great stories and great filmmaking in any language that I do. I don't think now any of my films are superior or inferior in terms of quality of writing or quality of filmmaking, which I think is the case everywhere. I think I love everything that's happening in Malayalam right now. I hope the next Malayalam films I do is of as good quality as the content that's coming out of there. But I don't think I'm disappointing my audience back in Malayalam by doing any of these films that I've done. I don't think they think it's any less.
I mean to ask, the other day I was interviewing Nagavamshi sir. He's saying that Sar is a very successful film here. But when it was the Tamil version, Vati, it was not so successful.
They will always be, even a film dubbed into Telugu, you can't expect it to do the kind of business if it is, or have the same kind of acceptance if it is a straight Telugu film.
Yeah, so you have that.
Similar. So say, even though I'm an actor from Malayalam, I don't expect my dubbed other language films to have the same wide acceptance as a straight Malayalam film.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is something we accept. But also, you're making a film for. You should always only make a film for one primary market, and I strongly believe in this. You can dub it. You can maybe even cast it a little bit for it to be familiar to other markets, but if it's not rooted in one place, it's going to be lost. It'll be everywhere.
But these days, people are talking about these pan-India films, pan-world films.
But I'm saying, like, if you name any of the pan-India films, if you take a Pushpa, it's rooted in Telugu, in like one jungle, and it happens there. But it's not trying to be many things.
Okay.
That's why I think it works. Like a Kantara is so even more rooted.
Yes.
But what I think the whole country discovered was a sort of culture that we're not familiar with, an art form, a religious belief that we have not, everybody knows. And Kerala is a little more familiar. It's very similar to Theyyam from North Kerala. But I think for a major part of India, I think that film was a big discovery. But I think they should all be rooted in one place. Like for me, Baskhar is a story that happens, though it happens in Bombay. The family is Telugu, it's written here, it's made here, it's cast with actors here. I think the story can be universal, it can appeal, but somewhere it has to be primarily one market.
Sir, do you believe in these things? Some filmmakers do that. The Telugu version will be slightly different to the Tamil version.
I don't know.
Is it the case with Lucky Bashkar?
It's not possible. I don't think it's possible.
Okay. You don't make any changes to suit that local nativity or something?
I feel like we've all tried things like that, and I don't think that works.
Okay.
I think you should be very honest and say, this is a Telugu film, that we're dubbing it into Malayalam or dubbing it into Tamil.
Okay.
And if you're honest with the audience, I think they'll always appreciate it. You cannot, con them or dupe them into believing that this is a Malayalam film. Like they won't know most of these actors.
So you can con a banking system, but you
You
cannot
cannot
con
call
on the audience.
Yeah, never. I don't think that has ever worked. Ever. You can't question their intelligence. You can't con them. You can't take them for granted. I think whenever any of us have failed, so somewhere I think we've not respected that.
Okay. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Sir, in Telugu, we have been talking about from medium range films to big budget films. We often talk about remunerations being major part, and how is it? We are recently talking about heroes have to cut down their remunerations, take a stake in the films, etc.
Sure.
So how is it in Malayalam? Because we 50% or
again-
more are remunerations here.
No, I don't think we can ever afford to have such a major percentage as remuneration. And that is historically also it's been not the case. So I think, and obviously the biggest stars produce it themselves. I think they can then figure out their remunerations how they want. But otherwise, it's never the biggest chunk of the film. No.
But is that not tempting for your actors to explore in other markets? Because
I don't think it's an actor thing, right? I don't see. It's a very human thing. Some people are really motivated by money, and some people are not, and that's fine. And I think it's a very individual choice.
So Baskhar is more motivated towards money, but Dulquer is not.
I'm not. Yeah, I strongly believe that money will come if you follow your passions and you work sincerely. I believe money will come, and I also believe that. I mean, I'm very smart with my money. I'm not trying to. I don't want to give out any messaging that money is not important. You can be very smart, invest wisely, and all the things that you want and dream of, you will attain. But I also believe that beyond a certain point, you're just buying multiples of the same thing.
So what kind of person Dulquer is when it comes to money? You have your credit card and keep swiping everywhere, or you save money, you invest money, or you...
I do a bit of both. I like investing. I'm not a big... I don't particularly like money just sitting idle and collecting interest. I think we should do things with it. I spend on all the things I dreamed of. I've today, if I can afford it, I try and buy it. But beyond that, I also like investments. I like to create. That's primarily.
Where do you like to invest?
I've invested in startups, in some properties. But generally, even properties don't excite me so much because I feel like I'm not creating anything. I'm like, you buy it and just park it there.
So
even though that's very wise passive income, please don't take advice from me. This is a very individual take on
investing startups itself is a specialty, sir.
That for me is like producing a film.
Okay.
Except it's a very
something
long
from the
gestation.
scratch and
Yeah,
everything.
so I'm like somebody has an idea, like it's written on a napkin, and then you create an entity or a business or a service or a product, and you market it. It's so much like producing a film.
So how do you do that? You yourself will do the research, or you have someone to do it for you?
I've the friends of mine that I went to school with who do this full time.
Okay.
So I do things with them. So if they come across an interesting idea, so like a script pitch.
So I can say that not just Dulquer's films, even Dulquer is interesting.
Sure, I think now it's important. I've noticed in the current generation, in the current scenario, you can't just be doing one thing.
Okay.
It's almost like that is no longer interesting. If somebody has multiple interests, multiple skills, even a skill set, if you can do more than one thing, you are also safeguarding your life, your future, your work. You have something to fall back on. I was always very clear that I didn't want to do cinema for money.
Okay.
I do. It's not just because you offer me a really big paycheck doesn't guarantee that I'll do the film.
Okay.
I've been offered remakes for big money, and I'm like, no. I want to find original cinema and do it. So because of that, I think I've always been an investor.
So do you watch so much of OTT?
I watch whatever content I can.
So what are your top 5? Favorite series or something?
I love The Crown a lot. That's been fun to watch. I loved Scam 92. What else did I watch? The problem is I blank out when I think because of my education in America, I'm so used to multiple choice. So you give me 5 or 10 options, I can choose from it. What else have I seen? I'm trying to think. But of late, I've been watching more content. I know that that's something I've been particular about. But been catching up on films. I watch.
So which language fascinates you?
I like all languages. I'm not.
Okay. So it's like
I'm not language agnostic.
Some Koreans, Russians, they make good films, good content,
Yeah.
something like that. Opinions you have?
But you've all watched. If somebody tells you something is good content, you end up watching it. But I don't. Like I see my wife watching Korean K-dramas and things like that. In the Mood for Love was one of my favorite films that I watched. So it's not a language specific thing. When I want to watch content, it depends what my interest. Now I'm watching a lot of true crime.
Okay.
So I watched Monsters recently. So it's different interests at times.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. So do you follow Telugu cinema religiously?
Not religiously. I mean, I think because I work in all languages, I'm aware of releases. I'm aware of what the next big films are.
Who is that one actor or who you you think is making some inspirational choices? At least you need not watch all the films, but the kind of choices they make.
I think Baskhar has been doing interesting films. I mean, I know he has a big pressure to do huge films because he's such a massive star, and sometimes they don't work out. But I feel like they're all different in genre. They're all different in. He's attempting something new all the time. I really like Charan's choices, even Tarak's choices. It's very difficult to pick. I like that Nani does. I like his number of films, and each film is a different genre. So he's doing, and I always find that very good for the industry when there's so many films being made. I like that he does that. Like the past 3 films, each have been a different genre. Who else? I think we're all waiting for. I think Pushpa 1 and Pushpa 2 is taking too long.
Yeah.
Now I think
We are very
Bunny should do more and more films. I think that is. It's always exciting for us to watch.
Which is the most exciting film you watched in Telugu recently?
I'm trying to think. What did I watch last? I feel like I revisited Rangasthalam again recently. I thought that's such a terrific film. It's not a recent release.
Yeah, not recent.
But it's such a terrific film. Like for me, in terms of performance, I thought Charan was fabulous. But also as a film, it's so unpredictable. And I like it has so many twists and turns, and it's again so rooted. I think it is a little underrated. I think that film should have done a lot more than what it did. And it was a little ahead of its time also, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I mean now suddenly so many rooted films are finding pan-Indian success.
Yes.
I don't think that film did that at that time.
Yes. It was more of regional.
Correct. But in today's climate, if it came out, I think it would have maybe traveled a lot more.
So how was it working with Balakrishna sir?
I went on the show. He's incredible. I think unmatchable energy, and I think his mind is constantly doing so many things. And you know, he manages his hospital. He has a show. He's acting in movies. I feel like he can do anything. But I think it's very difficult for us to match his energy. So we're all literally like, one step behind trying to play catch up. But I loved it. I loved interacting with him. Great fun.
Sir, it was very interesting to think how Nagi sir narrated your role in Kalki to you first.
There's no narration. It was just because
Did he say that it's a role similar to Parshuram or something?
Nothing like that. I think what happened was when I was promoting Sitaramam, Kalki shoot was happening in a floor close by. So I went to see it and I was so fascinated by it. And I said, you guys want me to do anything in this film? Even if you want to walk across the frame, I'll do it because I'm so curious about this world. I kind of want to just... When, as actors, when you get a film that is... When you come into a set and there's characters and actors and great production design, between that action and cut, you can really believe that you're living that life, and that is not always possible. I think some films really do world building very well.
Yeah.
So I was so curious about that. And I think just just to experience that world, even if it is for like 1 day, 2 days. I do so much of my life is about experience.
Okay.
So I said, Nagi, I want to do something. You decide what, I don't care. But I want to just experience that world, however small it is, whatever. I just want to experience it.
So you are going to walk across in Kalki 2 as well?
If he tells me to, I will. But only Nagi knows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two production houses, Swapna Cinemas and Nagavamshi.
Yeah.
So how did they make you comfortable and maybe be at home here?
I think I've been very, very blessed. Of course, I mean, Vaijayanti is like family. All of them. Swapna, Priyanka, Nagi. That guy was like my favorite. I love him. He's like a family member. And I think they are it's because of them that I'm even sitting here talking to you. You know, I didn't imagine having a career here in Telugu film industry. I got 1 or 2 offers before that, but I wasn't convinced about speaking the language. So when I wasn't convinced, they weren't convinced. But I feel like everybody at Vaijayanti didn't let me say no. They're like, no, you can learn the language, you can pick it up. And they invested time and effort into helping me learn. So that will always be special, and I'll always be a Vaijayanti actor. I don't know what it is. So tomorrow, whatever they tell me, if I have the dates, I will be there. I'll stand by them fully. But I've loved Sitara. I love the amount of films they do. And I think now Vamsi Garu also knows the type of actor I am, the kind of films I want to do, the type of content I like. So in the big roster of films, if he finds things that I like, I'm sure it will definitely work together
So who
again.
is your 3 a.m. friend here?
I guess Rana.
Rana.
Yeah, we're doing this film together also. So very often at 3 a.m. we are talking.
Yes. You recently launched a film as well.
Yeah, Kanta.
So finally, before we close, what is that you are promising your fans and audience with Lucky Bashkar?
I think it's a great entertainer. I think it's a very honest, true, real story. I think the audiences, everybody will connect to Bhaskar and his family. Some member of this film will connect to you, and I think all the characters are very real. They don't seem like actors to me when I was working with them. It has great music. I think GV's done a great job, and I think it'll be a good theatrical experience.
Yes. It was very nice talking to you, sir.
Same.
I learned so much from you.
Thank you.
So I wish you all the best, and I want you do more and more Telugu films, and possibly if you can also, if your wife permits, you should relocate to Hyderabad.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving time.